All right, so apparently I've been muted, talking to myself for the last 5 minutes. So this entry meets the criteria. I don't really like how we created a lower low there, but it fits the criteria, so we're going to take it. We're going to see where it goes. Again, this is a evaluation account I opened strictly for the purposes of trading this strategy. Looking for just 15 ticks. If we get it, then we're done. Well, no, we'll take one more trade. Looking for a maximum of 2 trades. Just playing the probabilities based on the back testing. All right, so we got 10 out of it. Oh, and there's the 15. So this is one thing I haven't necessarily back tested, but I do have it as a parameter just to sort of be safe. A little disappointed I missed out on that extra little bit there. I don't know, I may actually change that. So this is where we've got the default entry starts at a 20 tick stop, which depending on where the entry candle is will be moved to the bottom of the entry candle, plus or minus a little bit. 15 ticks target. Let's see, profit trigger 15 plus 10. You know, I'm going to move it down to plus 5. Because the purpose of this is really just to make sure we don't tap the 15 and then rip back, right? Um, yeah, we'll go with that. All right, let's wait for another entry. So you probably saw those notifications pop up from Rhythmic. I am copying this into 2 other accounts, so total of 3 accounts. On this strategy, I am going to start these things earlier in the morning. Start at 7:30. I was a little late this morning because I was kind of getting some other stuff done. So we'll see where this goes. I mean, the purpose of this challenge, like for that trade specifically, I mean, it wasn't looking good right here, right? We got in, it came back down basically to our break-even point. And it looked like it might be turning around. So the simple act of sitting through that pullback, waiting for it to go back up, just, which you don't know that it's going to, but exercising the discipline is really kind of what this is about. So very happy with that outcome, but it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is we executed the trade according to our plan. That's the only thing that matters. Shouldn't feel good about a win. You shouldn't feel bad about a loss. In fact, I was watching a trading psychology thing on guy on YouTube talking, and I might do a short on this because it was really good. And he was talking about how he is, yeah, he has a friend, I guess, or a colleague or whoever that, is a very, very successful, like 8 or 9 figure trader. And his comment about this guy was the guy just doesn't care about the money at all. He only cares about the executions. And, just executing his plan because he knows his plan will work. So you execute your plan consistently enough and the money follows. Any one trade doesn't mean anything, really. So now I'm going heavier, taking heavier positions on these trades because they are scalpy. So I do want to get these accounts passed, get this account passed someday. So we're doing 5 contracts. The risk with 5 contracts is that a full loss would basically hit your daily loss limit in TopStep. And so if your first trade was a loss, that would end your day early. So probably once I get to funded, I might back it off and maybe only do 3 contracts until I build up a balance that can reasonably absorb a full loss without putting me in jeopardy. And then ultimately long term, the idea would be that I would be comfortable just holding it. And maybe fine tune the ATM trailing. The trail would be you trail the pullbacks. So in this case, you sit in it. Okay, we got a pullback. So now you move your stop up to here, which, in this case, we got 10. So in this case, our stop would be moved to 10, right? So worst case, we'd get what we already got. Better case, we get even more. All right. We target 100% or we just let it go until we get stopped out. Or until we get some other market conditions that let us know it's probable that the move is over. So 440. So we got some slippage on that. That's the other thing I want to see with multiple contracts. So we got kind of a crappy fill too. We should have been filled here. At 5, we got filled at 6. Okay, so 9 and 10. So let's push back hard enough. We got a little bit of slippage on those. I was honestly a little nervous about this trade because it pushed so far below the line, but the rules are this trade is still valid until a full candle forms below the midline. Now we do have news today, which is, I don't have news factored into my rules specifically, but don't trade during the news. That's just common sense, right? So we have 9:45 and 10 a.m. news. I mean, that's not going to be a factor for some time. I did switch up my news source. I'm looking at Forex Factory now, which you can filter here. You can filter for stuff. So I'm filtered on USD stuff that affects the dollar. It is FOMC day, so this afternoon is going to be exciting for all the equities. And I am only looking at trades off of the midline. However, this would normally be considered kind of want to watch here. Because this wouldn't be a bad entry, I don't think. We'll see how it plays out. Choppy, choppy gold. Choppy, choppy gold. So I'll show this at the end of the stream too to sort of validate the results here. Oh, that entry off the top here would have been stopped out. So glad we didn't do that. So this is the account. Ends in the 640 S1 April 304228640. It's in alert status 2, whatever that means. So that's the account we'll use to track the results here. Well, that was funny. The green on my shirt is... Do I have a chroma key set in here? I was playing with the green screen the other day. Probably gonna screw up my... Oh, there it is. Yep. All right, how does my shirt look now? There we go. That's better. This is a running guy I used to follow. This guy posted every day. He posted, not just posted every day, but he did a vlog every day for like, I think 7 years. And these were full on like 15, 20-minute vlogs with, you know, B-roll and drone footage and all this kind of stuff. It's insane. But Seth James Demore, Seth Demore. Very inspirational runner from Colorado. So let me try this. I think... See, this was showing up goofy before, and I think it's because I had that chroma key on, which was screwing things up. There it is. There's probably a better way to do this, but this will suffice for now. I'm going to... Oops. Don't need it to be the whole screen. Thank you very much. Can't make it smaller. There we go. Nope. As small as it'll go. All right, so that's the trade plan. Oops. Huh. I'm going to have to adjust my trade plan with with my recently adjusted ATM strategy. I find any kind of trailing ATM strategy is really tricky because anytime I really start to trail, it's almost like I'm almost sure to get stopped out with that trail. In almost every case, I'm better off just taking my profits wherever price happens to be whenever I feel like I should trail. So I don't know, maybe at 5 I should really just move it to like break even. Because that's really the intent of that, is just to make sure that I don't, you know, if it goes 15, I shouldn't take a loss on the trade. I'm not gonna have it tap 15, not fill me, and then come back for a full loss. That, you know, if it moves up that far and turns around, then it's probably not going back up, at least not before a deeper pullback. But you can't trail candles in gold. It just doesn't work. I mean, far too often you get just, you know, one tick below before it pulls up. I mean, you had this at the open, right? Low, high, low, high. I mean, it's just choppy all over the place. We had it here, right? If we trailed it, we would have got stopped out right here. Just doesn't work. We have no 15-minute fair value gaps to worry about where we're at, which means price could be just kind of consolidating through here. I mean, it's not moving very fast. That's a certainty at the moment. We have been trailing. I mean, we've been above the red line here since the overnight open, way back here. So we're on a very clear uptrend. We did flatten out here before pushing back up, so cautious that there is the potential we roll around and head back towards the overnight open down here. As I track my results in this, I'm only going to be tracking ticks. Because how much you make will be based on your leverage. I'm doing 5 contracts, which is higher risk if you only wanted to do one, or if you had a much larger account, you could do more. So the point is to say, how many ticks did we get? So the way that I will record that is I'll record, like in this case here, some got filled at 10, some got filled at 9. I'm going to record that at 10 ticks because that's where the order got triggered. And then, so the actual dollar value in the account will vary somewhat based on actual, I guess, filled positions. But the triggers will be based on the criteria. So we'll measure it at that point, at the point where the criteria is hit. And, so if it was one contract, I think the one contract would have got filled at that 10 ticks. It's honestly one thing I've wondered about. If you trade a lot more, if you were to get up and trade 10 or 20 contracts, would how much would you get everybody filled there? Or would you have some that actually, totally got missed? I don't know. Okay, we are back down to the red line. I mean, that's technically an entry. I'm skeptical again, but that's an entry, so we'll take it. If we get stopped out, we have a little bit of profit from our earlier one to buffer us a little bit. Okay, well, there we go. See, and there's another, we got slippage again. It's crazy. All right, this is moving a little wildly for me. I do not like it. Do not like it. Where's my stop? Then I guess we'll see. This is like oddly difficult to sit through this. It's not looking so good. All right, so we have 42 tick range. Okay, stop out there. So we're 1 win, 1 loss so far for the day. I stopped out there because we have a full candle close below the midline, which would invalidate a long entry. And because of that, I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Which I'm glad we did. Saved ourselves a couple bucks. This is really weird price action right here. I don't like it much. All right, so we'll only take one more trade today. We'll either get a win or a loss. Go ahead and add our lines back on. Now that we're past this opening. All right. All right, so here's the 10-day challenge trade plan. This is in gold. I guess I should put that on there somewhere, but we're trading gold for this 10-day challenge. We're looking for a test of the midline or red line after a pullback. And the reason for that is sometimes if the red line is in the way, then price will only go to the midline. So if you get a nice rejection off the midline, that works too, or off of the red line, that works too. The red line is the 105 SMA on the 1 minute chart. You enter at the break of the test candle. The test candle must originate from a recent high or low or from a cross of the midline. The ATM is a 50 tick target with a 20 tick stop. The stop is moved to test candle low. And then trading between 7:35 and 10 a.m. Central Time with a max of 2 winning trades or 2 losing trades. Now I'm trading 5 contracts, so I will get excuse me. I'll probably only get, if I get a full loss, that'll just be, I'll be done for the day basically. But 2 winning trades or 2 losing trades. I think I'm going to have to add, we'll make some adjustments to the ATM strategy after today. And I'm not exactly sure what that'll be. In this case, we have it set to move the stop to 10 ticks up once 15 ticks is touched. So you can see in this case, we touched 15 ticks, ripped back down, stopped me out before moving higher. So really it should be changed based on my original plan to once you touch the opening range, then you move your stop to break even and just let it sit. I think that would be a wiser choice, because the intent of moving the stop up is simply to reduce, your loss. It's not to lock in profits necessarily, because we're only going for 15 ticks. It's a pretty short profit target. All right, so here we did come below the midline, and we're working our way back up. So we'll get ready just in case we break through up here. 15-minute till equities open. Then we have news in about half an hour. So we have to have a breach of the midline, otherwise we do not have a trade. Even a touch doesn't count. It's got to actually push through it. So that candle does not count because it just tapped it. See if we miss out an opportunity here because we wanted to wait for that touch. The one thing about this is it'd be a super tight stop. 4 ticks. Or 5. Or 6 if we got slippage on the entry. Whew. Gosh. Yeah, this price action is not comforting today at all. And it sits there, and then you get an impulsive move that's that large. That's kind of nuts. I mean, it's 15 ticks, so it's really not huge, but it's pretty decent size. Gonna wait and be patient. Now that is an impulsive move up. So if you like to just take the break of the range, this is what you want to see, right? Reaching, reaching, reaching. Blow through. All right, well, we were just moving on up. Should do some testing on basically the range and candle width, right? So if the range is 42, half the range is 21. So if you have a candle that's, say, like this candle here was, what did we say, 17? This down close candle, 18. If you have a candle that's, say, 80% of half the range, so is that 40% of the total range? Maybe that's too big of a candle to get in on. Of course, if we'd done that here, we would have missed out on a good entry, right? So whenever I see this, I mean, you see there was a reaction off the midline. It just pulled back. It just wicked down and ripped everybody out before it went up. So unless you're really, fairly confident and leave your stop like way down here just as a, total just in case, 30 ticks away. Let it do all this and then whoosh, rip up and you're fine. I don't know, just walking through what I see. All right, let's see. There's that 50% line creating a nice support resistance line. Paused right there, then whoop, up to the 100%. So that's what we like to see. Guess hasn't got there quite yet. We fell, what, 2 ticks short, 1 tick short, something like that. All right, equity open. Maybe that'll push gold up to that 100% line. Maybe it'll do nothing at all. There it goes. All right, so there's 100%. Well, there's an inside 5-minute bar on oil that worked. I'm just waiting for price to come back to my midline. Actually waiting, it's probably going to hit the red line first, because it does that. If we look at yesterday, came down for this retest at about 920. Day before, we crossed it here just before 9 o'clock. I'm back up. Day before, we got tests at 9:30 and just after 9 o'clock. So, I mean, this is an example of where I would take a red line in place of the midline. Like, she got the red line in the way, so price doesn't, you know, like this would have been an okay entry, even though price just, well, I guess it went through the midline. It went through the midline by a tick, but even if it only touched it, I would have still have taken this short because we have the red line there as added confirmation. You can see it gets in the way here, so it doesn't quite reach up there. Anyway. So that would be the type of thing I would be waiting for. If it happens, it might just run from here. Who knows? We will watch and see. You have news in the next 12 minutes plus, well, we got news at 9:45 and at 10 a.m. So I'll probably just be sitting and watching for a few minutes. Actually, since I realized that I had my chroma key turned on and I turned it off, let me try something. Might just be able to add it here. Let's add an image. Boom, there we go. That's better. Well, sitting on that 50% line. Okay, so this exit wasn't too bad. It sold 4 contracts at the right spot and only got 1 tick of slippage on a single contract. Actually, I got slippage on all of them because it should have exited me at 08.6, and I ended up getting 5 and 4. I'm going to move these lines out of my way because they don't really matter much at this stage. Just to document the fact that we hit the 100% again. All right, so 9:45 news didn't care much. What was that one? That one was final manufacturing PMI. So what's the difference between final manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing PMI? ISM is Institute for Supply Management. Sounds like an exciting organization. So So for the PMI number, above a 50 indicates industry expansion, below indicates contraction. It's supposed to be a leading indicator of economic health. Businesses react quickly to market conditions, and their purchasing managers hold perhaps the most current and relevant insight into the company's view of the economy. Okay. So basically, they measure what purchasing managers at companies are buying, and if they're buying a lot, it means that they expect to be doing a lot of business. And if they're not buying a lot, then it's a sign that things might be slowing a bit. Survey of about 300 purchasing managers, which asks correspondents to rate the relevant level of business conditions, including employment, production, new orders, prices, supplier deliveries, and inventories. Interesting. So this is at 10 a.m. coming up. So last month's number, April's number came in at 50.3 against a forecast of 48.5. So that's good, right? That was the first time in the last, 5 months that actually, that was the first time since November of 2022 that the number was above 50%. Interesting. So also at 10 a.m. is job openings, as well as ISM manufacturing prices. The job openings number is a month behind, though. It's released 35 days after the month ends. So what does that mean? That means we'll be getting March's, basically end of March numbers. Anyway, wait for that excitement. Well, that red line is creeping up to the top of the range. So that's a good spot. You can see the overnight open down there below us. It's a long ways away though, 126. We'll see though. This trend seems to be perhaps rounding off a bit. Or perhaps not. I don't know. This doesn't mean anything for my trade plan, but it is kind of interesting to watch and see how price behaves. So kind of created this top, and it looks like we're sort of holding that. All right, we got 5 minutes till the news, so I'm going to take a short break. And since there's nothing we can do until then anyway, we'll be back momentarily. All right, we got news incoming. Be really nice if this thing came back. Whoa! Wowzers. All right, so what was the number? Let's see if this tells us. Oh, it's pending. Interesting. So PMI came in at 49.2 against a forecast of 50. And gold spiked up. So that's interesting. Job openings came in at 8.49 million, I guess, against a forecast of 8.68 million. So fewer job openings than anticipated. Does that correlate to better employment, or does that just mean that not as many people are hiring? I'm not sure. And manufacturing prices came in at 60.9 against a forecast of 55.5. So let's see, what does this say? Okay, so that indicates rising prices. Surprise, surprise, prices are going up. And they're going up more than they expected that they would go up. Well, that was enough to rocket oil up to its overnight open, if you were watching that. All right, so we have one more hour to watch the gold chart and see if we get another entry opportunity. It would be very nice if we did, because we're in the red today, which I don't like that. We're down, let's see, 308. So not much. Down on one win and one loss. I think I'm definitely going to change my adjust the ATM parameters, simply to move the stop to break even once we hit that 10 ticks, or the 15 ticks, excuse me. So I think I would rather get stopped out for break even than to give up hitting the target. So I think that's what we'll do. So on our win here, we were shorted a little bit. We didn't quite get to our target before we got stopped out. And then we wisely closed this out a little bit early before getting stopped out, although it did turn around and head in our direction. It's just a little, price action was just a little too choppy. And I have a feeling this may settle out and just either consolidate at this higher level or even trickle higher. Otherwise, if it comes down and gives us a nice red line entry, we'll take that. That was a really nice. I took it in a sim account. There was a really nice red line entry on oil yesterday. Let's see, where was that one? I can't. Where's my oil chart? This guy right here. I took this trade with 10 contracts yesterday. Oh no, I'm sorry. It wasn't a red line trade. It was an open range trade. So this rejection of this of the overnight opener. Took it in a sim account with 10 contracts. This thing just fell, 50 ticks or something down here. It's one of those, I wish I had the guts to take that in, well, like one of my Apex accounts. That was just a very, very nice reaction off the bottom. I mean, this one would have been good. Came back, tested again, dropped. So kind of a weird day in oil yesterday. Steep downtrend, but overnight, or the open range lines, pretty strong. Every time I think this thing's starting to run out of steam, it pushes higher. So Oh, good. It's starting to come down. All right, well, we're approaching the red line, but I don't know. We'll see how it reacts. If, in fact, it ever actually does get there, I don't know. Oops. Okay, well, there's a tap of the line. I think I'm going to let this one go. It's not in proximity to these lines, to the open range, so technically it does not fit the criteria, so I guess I shouldn't take it. Otherwise, this is a valid red line entry. It's actually a pretty nice one. We'll see how it plays out. Hello there, Crypto Panda. Yes, I have taken 2 trades today. There they are. So we had 1 winner and 1 loser. First trade right here, clear entry. The ATM is set to move to 10 ticks to have the stop move to 10 ticks as soon as we hit 15. I did that and then stopped us out at 10. So I'm going to adjust that moving forward just to move it to break even once we hit the 15. So if price goes up, it's 15, then we'll move our stop to break even, just to prevent losses. Otherwise, we would have got the full 15 that we were looking for there. This one was a loss. It just chopped us out. So that one did not work, even though it did end up going in the direction that we wanted it to. I stopped out early because we got a candle close below the midline. So that technically would be signal for a potential entry short. And so for that reason, I went ahead and just closed it. And glad we did, because I closed it before it whipped all the way down here. Otherwise, it would have hit my stop loss for more of a loss. So right now we're down, probably where we're going to end the day, down 308 in the account, which, considering we're trading 5 contracts, that's not too bad. I'm perfectly happy with that. Had a lot of news this morning, which probably caused price action to be a little less sort of rhythmic in the morning. So that's where we're at. I did took 3 NQ trades in a different account. 2 break even and 1 winner, but that's something different, so we'll leave that for another day. Looks like this red line trade may fail, so I'm glad we didn't get into that. Just watch here for a second longer to see if we hit that stop over here. Whoop. All right, there's the stop. I would take a red line trade if we hit the red line down here, where the red line was causing interference and maybe was the reason the price didn't get all the way down to my midline. In that case, I would take a red line trade, but this one technically doesn't fit my 10-day challenge criteria, so we're going to let it be. Yeah, 5 minis. Yep. Yeah, this is an evaluation account, and I'm really just looking to get it passed. So, because I'm only going for 15 ticks, and I know these trades can often go for a lot. I mean, a lot more than that. So really, it's just to scalp that little bit, and it's all about, I want it to be enough that it's uncomfortable, which these were very uncomfortable to sit through. So it's kind of by design that I'm leveraged pretty heavily in these trades, as really more of an exercise and a training and discipline more than anything. Because long term, I would like to be prepared to trade a lot more than 5 minis. So this 10-day challenge is just about execution discipline and following a very specific trade plan, really more than anything. However, the trade plan based on my back testing works a high percentage of the time, and so the odds are pretty good that the accounts will make it through. I think once this account was moved to funded status, I guess, I probably won't trade 5 in the beginning because I don't want to lose it. Probably downgrade myself to 2 or 3 contracts to start, and then once my account balance builds up enough, I'd go to the 5 contracts. Well, I got 7 more minutes. It's unlikely that it's going to get anywhere in 7 minutes. Or not 7 minutes, 17 minutes. But I guess we'll stick around just in case. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, TopStep does the scaling thing, don't they? Well, that's probably good. So I'll have to start out at 2 contracts. Can't remember because they let you scale. Once you're up, is it $1,500? They let you go to 3 contracts, something like that. I forget about that scaling rule because Apex doesn't have that, and Apex is who I traded with for a while. I still have an Apex account, but with this strategy that I've been trading, the trailing drawdown that Apex enforces can bite you pretty hard. So I find it works better in the TopStep accounts. Although the scalping piece, that would be just fine in Apex because we're not going very far. Yeah, I guess there's no real reason to worry about the scaling plan if until you get there. Well, it seems to be picking up a little bit of momentum coming down. It's a nice retest of the top of the range. So just for fun, let's see where 15 ticks would be. Let's see. 15 is right. Right there. Yeah, I use the it's right here. It's called the Open Range. I had to download it from the ecosystem, and I've had it for a really long time. So I don't even know if it's changed since I started. I guess let's go find out. What are we looking for? Ninja. No, there's the 15 ticks. So that rejection of that line would have got it for us. All right, so this is what I use as the open range indicator. Go into the ecosystem, just select an open range, and it's this one, opening range indicator. Then when you select on it, come in here. It's the one based on Robert Anderson's open range strategy. So that's the indicator that I use. It's pretty basic. Yeah, Bob Anderson's got a lot of good material on his YouTube. If you haven't watched him, he's pretty straightforward. He uses these indicators. So this red line is one of the ones he uses. So the strategy that I use is really based on, well, I guess it's a mishmash of lots of different things, but lots of components of what he teaches are included in it. My price is just kind of choppy everywhere. I'm watching NQ and it's just kind of a mess. The inversion I took on my other account worked, but it was, I got in and out of it 3 times because it was so choppy. Fortunately, all 3 were wins. All right, well, I think I'm going to call it a day. This entry here, I guess my trade plan says take it off the midline. So So didn't come back to the midline, so I didn't take it. So I'm going to call that a good first day. 50% win rate isn't horrible. And so that's 2 out of the, we're really looking for 20 trades, hoping to get at least 20 trades in the 10 days so that we can have kind of a good beginning data set here. So that's what we'll look at. And I'm going to summarize, and I'll probably post a little summary video later just to talk about those results. And that's it. Not terribly exciting, but it is what it is. So trade safe, everybody. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.